All I'd have to do was get to Juniper City on the next caravan. Then there'd be trains from there to Isman. Isman. I couldn't think of the city without hearing it whispered like a hopeful prayer in my mother's voice. A promise of a bigger world, a better life, one that didn't end in a short drop and a sudden stop. So, blue-eyed bandit. I opened my eyes as the foreigner sank down next to me, propping his arms on his knees. He didn't look at me when he spoke. It's better than Eastern snake, at least. He was holding a skin of water. I hadn't realized how thirsty I was until that moment, and my eyes tracked it as he took a long drink. Still, it has a certain dishonest bent to it. He glanced at me out of the corner of his eye. There was a skew to his words that would make even the most trusting fool think he was trouble. You got a real name? Sure. But you can call me Oman, if you've got to call me something. My eyes might betray me to some, but telling him my name was Amani al-Hiza would betray a lot more. The foreigner snorted. Funny. Oman's my name, too. Funny, I agreed dryly, a smile pulling at my mouth all the same. I reckoned half the men born in Meraji were called Oman, after our exalted Sultan. I didn't know if their parents figured it would win them favor with our ruler, not that they'd ever get so much as spitting distance from him, or if they thought God might give them favor by mistake. But I did know that the stranger wasn't named Oman any more than I was. Everything about him was foreign, from his eyes to the angles in his face and the way he wore his desert clothes like they didn't belong against his skin. Even his words were tinged with an accent, though he spoke cleaner Miragine than most folks around here. Where are you from, anyhow? I asked before I could stop myself. Every time I opened my mouth, it was another chance to get found out for a girl, but I couldn't help myself. The foreigner took a swig of water. Nowhere in particular. You? Nowhere interesting. I could play that game, too. Thirsty? He offered me the skin, his attention a little too sharp. I was parched, but I didn't dare lift my shima, not even a little. Besides, this was the desert. You got used to being thirsty. I'll live, I said, trying not to run my tongue over my dried lips. Suit yourself. He took a long drink. I watched his throat rise and fall greedily. Our friend certainly seems to be. Thirsty, that is. I followed his gaze to Damad. He was draining another bottle, his face red. So much the better for you, I shrugged. I was going to beat you both anyhow. At least you're bound to come in second now. The foreigner broke into easy laughter. I felt stupidly pleased with myself for being the one to drag it out of him. One of the men pushing to the front of the bet wranglers looked over at us, frowning, like we might be conspiring. I like you, kid, the foreigner said. And you're talented, so I'm going to give you some advice. Throw the game. You really suppose that's going to work on me? I tried for bravado, straightening up as much as I could. You see our friend over there? He nodded to Damad. He plays for the house. Hassan gets rich off Damad's winning. They don't like it when strangers beat him. And how do you know so much, not being from around these parts? The foreigner leaned over conspiratorially. Because I beat him last week. We both watched